Hey everyone, it's your girl Layla. Welcome back to my channel. Okay guys, welcome to the last episode of Spooktober. I can't believe this month has flown by already, and I can't believe we're on the very last episode. Well, actually, I might do a Halloween special just because I did film some footage at Bunker last year in Ottawa, and I still haven't uploaded that footage. I thought it would be more appropriate for the month of October and spooky season versus posting it in December of last year or something like that. So I do have a Halloween special coming. So yeah, this month was really fun. I got to experience some cool spooky places, but this video in particular, this didn't happen at one of the spooky places. It actually happened here in my house, and this is my first and only, knock on wood, paranormal experience that I've personally had myself. And I didn't think I would ever film this video. I didn't think I'd ever film this video here. I thought I would just film it in my car, but here I am filming this video here where it happened. And so if you guys are not already subscribed, please go ahead, click that subscribe button below. I upload 3 times a week, Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. And like I mentioned, all month long, all of my spooky videos are saved for the month of October. So I do have a full Spooktober playlist if you guys are interested in checking out any of my older Spooktober videos. So let's get right into it. Okay, so this story time makes me a little bit nervous to share because I am filming it here where it happened, but I wanted to talk about my first ever paranormal experience, and it is crazy and I still can't believe it happened, and I try not to think about it too much, but it did actually happen to 2 of my family members as well that live here, so it wasn't just me that has experienced this. Okay, so this happened back when it was still cold outside. This was back in like February or March. This day I remember very vaguely. I remember that my mom brought home some Ethiopian food, and I'm not that adventurous with food. My mom can't eat spicy food, but Andy was definitely willing to try it. So we went downstairs at like 1 a.m., 12 a.m. around there, like super late at night, around midnight, to heat up the food and he could try it, right? So I remember waiting for the microwave to, finish doing its thing, heating up the food, and we both hear, as clear as day, a little girl's voice saying hi. Like out of nowhere, okay? Nobody else is awake. It's really late at night. There's nobody outside because it's winter, and we hear this little girl say hi. We both kind of look at each other. I think he thought it was my phone because I was on my phone scrolling at that point in time, but I was playing Heyday, and if you guys know anything about me, I play Heyday on my phone, and there's no noises that come from that game. Like, my phone is completely muted at all times. It literally drives everyone crazy because my phone is so muted to the point where I don't have my ringer on ever. I don't have my phone on vibrate because I'm a very light sleeper. I don't have any type of volume on my phone unless I'm watching like TikTok videos or YouTube videos, which I was not at that point. I remember I was harvesting some of my crops on Heyday. Heyday is like Farmville, if you guys didn't know. So I was just doing that. Both of us hear it. Both of us look at each other, and we're both very confused. We're both like, did you hear that? No, did you hear that? No, did you hear that? And we were both like, okay, yeah, we both heard it. And he's not the type of person that really believes in like paranormal things. Like, he'll go with me to film my Spooktober videos. He'll go with me to haunted restaurants. He'll go with me to haunted places, but he always has some sort of explanation for why things happen, right? So he's a very logical person. I'm also a very logical person up to a point, up to where I can't explain something, then I'm confused and I don't know what's happening. But for the most part, we're both very logical people. We'll both come up with some sort of explanation about why something happened. And for me, I do believe in the paranormal. Obviously, I film these types of videos every year. I go to these haunted places and I experience them for myself. But I haven't experienced anything paranormal going into these haunted restaurants, going into these haunted, I think last year I did the screaming tunnel. I went into a screaming tunnel. That was really, really sketchy for me because I did feel some sort of, I don't know, I felt weird going into that screaming tunnel. But I've been to these paranormal places, but I haven't experienced it until this year. Until I wasn't even filming Spooktober videos back in February. Like, I wasn't, because I usually save these types of videos until the summer and then I'll visit these places and I'll film them. But literally I hadn't filmed a Spooktober video around that time at all. We both heard it as clear as day. Okay, so we both looked at each other, we were both trying to come up with an explanation, and he's like, oh, it was probably the neighbor's kid. And now I was like, okay, that could be possible, that could be very possible, except my neighbor has 2 boys. This was a little girl's voice, and my neighbor has 2 boys. Also, the fact that it was 1 a.m. and it was the middle of winter. There was nobody outside at that point in time, okay? There's like nobody, especially when it's like -10, -20 outside. There's gonna be no parents that is gonna be letting their children go outside in that weather at 1 a.m. So that explanation kind of went out the way. We forgot about it. We just went to sleep. The next day I woke up to go hiking and I was making tea early in the morning and my mom came downstairs and she's like, oh, where are you going hiking today, blah blah blah. We were just having a casual conversation. I was waiting for the water to boil. I remember this very specifically. I was waiting for the water to boil and I was kind of freaking out about the fact that I was probably going to be late to meet up with my friend because I had to get gas. I had to wait for the water to boil. I had to make the tea and stuff like that. I was like, oh, I'm gonna be late. I actually wasn't late. She was late. But I was waiting for the water to boil. My mom and I were just talking. We were basically just having, you know, a very early morning conversation where we were like talking about nothing. We were talking about the weather and hiking and all of that stuff. And then I was like, oh, the weirdest thing happened to me last night. And she's like, what happened to you last night? I was like, well, you know, I was downstairs, I was just scrolling on my phone and I heard a child's voice saying hi. And my mom looks at me, not like I'm crazy, but she gives me this like really weird, almost like shocked look on her face. And she believes in the paranormal too, obviously, but she looks at me and she has this weird look on her face. She asked me, okay, because I didn't say there was a little girl's voice or anything like that. I just said a child's voice. And she looks at me and she's like, was it a little girl? And I'm like, how does she know that? Like, how did she know it was a little girl's voice? I'm like, did you hear it too? And she's like, well, no, not last night, but I've heard it before. And I was like, wait, what? So she's like, the first time she experienced it was in her room and she had just come home from work. She was gonna take a nap and she heard a little girl's voice saying hi. And she looked around, she checked if her window was maybe open. It wasn't. And I was at work, so it couldn't have been like from my phone or anything like that. Her devices weren't on. She wasn't watching a YouTube video. She literally was laying down to take a nap and she heard the same thing. So we both look at each other and we're like both hoping that it's a friendly ghost and that she's just passing through. Also, I've previously done some research on the area that I bought my house on just to see like what was here before. This was a long time ago. This was like before I bought my house. I just wanted to know like where the neighborhood was before it was a neighborhood, you know what I mean? So this was actually a farmer's field. Also, when I first moved here, it was 2016, and 2016 was when Pokemon Go came out, and that game was super popular. Everyone was going outside, everyone was going Pokemon hunting at that point, and I was no different. I was obsessed with that game. And Pokemon Go back then, it had the old maps, so it wasn't up to date with its maps. It looked like I lived in the middle of nowhere in a farmer's field, right? So that makes sense when I did my research before about where I was moving to. And there was no houses because this is a fairly new neighborhood back in 2016, and there was really no roads or anything on the Pokemon Go map, but there was water. So there's 2 ponds that are very, very, very close to me. So one probably like 5 or 6 houses down my street, there was a big pond up until the entrance of my community, and then behind me there's another like almost like canal river type deal. It didn't look like a lake because it was shaped weird. It was kind of more shaped like a river, but it was a body of water. So there's like 2 bodies of water here before, and then just field. We're kind of thinking that maybe she lived here before, somewhere around here. I don't know what, I don't have an explanation about what I heard. She doesn't have an explanation either, other than the fact that she could have been living here before us, obviously, on this land or something like that. Hopefully she didn't suffer a tragic death or anything like that, and we both hope that she's friendly. But there's been definitely weird stuff that's happened like that. We both heard it. Also, my dogs, during the nighttime, they do this weird thing where they'll look, like, because dogs can sense certain things, right? So can cats. But my dogs do this really weird thing when it's dark. They like to look up at the ceiling, and I've caught one of my dogs just go like this. She'll look up at the ceiling, and then her eyes will follow something around the room. And she's done it like a few times, but she's not mean about it. You know, she's not growling. She's not like looking like she's scared. She's more like she's confused. She's just like following something around the room. So that gives me hope and that makes me think that it's nothing bad. But that was my scary story for you guys today. This is something that actually happened to me back in February. This happened this year. I have no explanation. If you guys have an explanation, you can let me know. But it's like one of the craziest things that's ever happened to me. And I honestly don't think it's from going to haunted places. I don't think anything followed me or anything like that. I'm really hoping that that's not the case. But I do go into places with a mindset that, you know, I think about love and light and like a bright white light surrounding me. That's like my aura when I'm going into these haunted places. So I try to be positive and don't create like a bad mindset around it where something would follow me. So yeah, that is all for this video. I do hope you guys enjoyed these episodes of Spooktober for 2023. I'm sorry that I've been like pretty ill for most of it and my voice hasn't been the greatest, but I am starting to feel so much better. And yeah, that is all for this video. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. If you are not already subscribed, please go ahead, click that subscribe button below. I upload 3 times a week, Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.